Hi, Mary Dacey, day 5. When we left off yesterday, I had gone out of the sequence of events in my life to give you the latest diagnosis, which was autonomic nervous system impairment, small fiber neuropathy, dysautonomia, still the chronic strokes, and a 40% higher chance of having a heart attack. But I need to go back to the day before yesterday because I've gone out of sequence and I'm trying to document the progression that I have undergone in the last 30 some years. So let's go back to when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue right after my father and brother had passed. And then let's skip ahead 5 years. And now it's 5 years later. I've been divorced, remarried. I've moved several times, and I'm now in my early 50s. And at this time, my gynecologist said to me, she wanted me to have the genetic testing for the BRCA gene, which is the breast cancer gene. And the reason for this, she said, is if I was positive, she would have wanted me to have an oophorectomy yesterday and a double mastectomy tomorrow. If you remember, I opted back when I was 36 to have a lumpectomy and radiation. However, because of the amount of radiation that they did back then, I had a number of complications over the year where it was like the radiation created scar tissue, which took on a life of its own, and I had to have some surgeries to remove it because it was so painful. So, of course, I tested positive for the gene. And if you have the gene and your daughter has the gene, it's likely that a daughter will also have cancer, but 5 years earlier than her mother. At the time, my oldest daughter was 29, so it was very close in time. And because I'm an empath, I absorb energy from places, people. I can meet somebody and instinctively know whether it's going to be harmful to me to be in their presence. And when it comes to family, I absorb their energy because I want to take their pain away. So it was so traumatizingly horrific for me to have to tell my daughters that they had to be tested that I sent an email. And in the email, I explained all about the testing, why my doctor had me get it, and that it would be their decision if they wanted to be tested. And then, if positive, it would be their decision as to what steps they were going to take, and that they would need genetic counseling. So I waited until all of this was done before I had my surgeries. And when I had my oophorectomy, it was fine. It was in and out, no problem at all. But when they did the double mastectomies, I wound up having probably 12 surgeries in 1 year. I just lost count at some point. And the reason is because they had done so much radiation on me that when I had the double mastectomies, I had necrosis, I had emergency surgery for. I had infection, I had emergency surgery for. And my skin would not heal on the radiated side. And as a result, the doctor that I had been going to wanted me to have a lat surgery, which is where they take the latissimus muscle from your back and pull it under your arm to create a pocket for reconstruction and to so you'd have more skin that had not been radiated. But whenever you have breast cancer, besides taking your breast tissue, they also look for lymph nodes in your armpit, and this is called a axillary node dissection. And when I had my axillary node dissection at 36, they took a huge wedge of armpit, and as a result, you're more susceptible to what's called lymphedema. The lymph nodes that are missing, you have trouble regulating the amount of fluid in the arm that this has happened to. And I had had one bout of lymphedema that I was able to get over on my own, but I also knew that having this particular surgery would almost assuredly give it to me for life, where my arm would be swollen and I'd have to wear a sleeve all the time to keep the swelling down. And that's where I'm going to leave off for today, and we'll pick it up tomorrow if I'm still here. Thanks for listening. I hope this is helping somebody. Good night.